Dramas are about big emotion, arguments, betrayal, etc. I should feel the tension between the characters. It's not enough to just present a bad situation. You need to present two opposing sides, flesh them out, and deep dive into the why. If you don't do that, it's just people posturing around and repeating the same facts of the matter over and over. There's no excitement without conflict. Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows, and try to release a new review every day, from Monday to Friday. Today, I'm talking about The Wonder. It's based on the novel written by Emma Donoghue. It's written and directed by Sebastian Lelio, and co-written by Alice Birch. It stars Florence Pugh, Tom Burke, and Keela Lord Cassidy. It's a period drama piece that revolves around a purported miracle child in Ireland during the Victorian era. It's long and boring, with highly dramatic acting, a soundtrack that sounds like someone playing songs at random on a jukebox, and standard visuals. Lib Wright, a nurse from England, is sent to watch over a young girl who claims to be fasting. Her parents told the doctor that she's been without food for 4 months, and the medical board has decided to set up a study to learn from the girl's condition. Wright meets with the girl, Anna, and her parents, and immediately starts to see signs of a conspiracy. Is Anna a living miracle, or just another charlatan? The movie is uneventful, drawn out, and nonsensical. It fails to deliver any conflict, and spends most of its time explaining what's going on because it couldn't think of a way to depict it. The screen time is split between atmospheric shots of people angrily walking or moodily staring into the camera, and Mrs. Wright trying to get anyone's help and being met with maddeningly repetitive, "You don't understand what we're like around here." The story barely scratches the surface when it comes to the characters' motivations, and doesn't attempt to flesh out anyone besides Mrs. Wright, Anna, and Will. The church, the medical board, and the parents are all depicted in a shallow light, and the film almost forgets about them entirely. I still have no idea why Will and Mrs. Wright started a relationship. They had zero chemistry and seemed to hate each other when they first met. Then bam, they're banging on the counter. The film wastes a lot of time and doesn't provide a reason to continue watching it. There isn't any mystery, Mrs. Wright never gets into any trouble, and doesn't really argue with anyone, and the ending is hopelessly contrived. The scenes with Wright and Anna speaking privately were the most interesting parts of the film, and they only took up maybe 10 minutes of screen time. It's obvious from the start who's feeding Anna, the how being unimportant, and the only question is, will this be an epically depressing movie, or just a regular depressing movie? Will they let the little girl die, or not? The cast does a solid job of performing, but there isn't a whole lot for them to do. Keela Lord Cassidy and Florence Pugh get to do some emotional work, and Tom Burke has a scene or two that utilized some subtler emotions. But aside from that, it's all angry talking. The loud voices are convincing, but they aren't impressive. Keela Lord Cassidy does a fantastic job expressing Anna's emotions surrounding her brother, and in building a relationship with Pugh. Her facial expressions and tonality are near perfect during the sorrowful scenes, but she really nails the scenes where Anna just wants to be normal. Florence Pugh does well in her scenes with Anna, subtly showing how the situation is affecting her while still trying to maintain a strong visage. She expresses Mrs. Wright's anger at the situation in a natural way and puts on a proper performance. Tom Burke has a scene where he discusses his past with Pugh and expresses quite a few subtle emotions that worked well. He does it again when he and Pugh are having a conversation about Anna's fate towards the end of the film. The production quality is for the most part fairly standard. The camera work is smooth, and there are a few nice pans and zooms here and there. But generally, the film focuses on centering its characters and trying to capture the emotions. There just isn't much of it despite the subject matter. The soundtrack is a little loud throughout the film and doesn't match well with the scenery. It's always trying to throw up intense boilerplate tracks during scenes of people walking or staring at the camera, and it makes the film feel needlessly dramatic. It rarely fits the mood and seems to be trying to force emotions that aren't there. The Wonder is a slow and boring ride through a shitty neighborhood. You can only watch as things go from bad to worse and wonder what the point of coming here was. The acting is good, and the visuals are up to standard, but the story is weak, and the soundtrack is ineffective. 6 out of 10.